What would you get if the main character of Overlord created a female character rather than a male character in a manga? Well, pretty much a wild last boss appeared. Yes, a new series in the fall 2025 anime season. Now, jokes aside, a wild last boss appeared isn't Overlord, but you can see a lot of the inspiration there. This is a novel series that came out about 3 years after Overlord started, and you can kind of see a lot of the similarities between the two of them. You have a main character that gets put into the body of some character they created that was an Overlord, somebody that was conquering things and was an evil entity that people came up and rised up to defeat. But unlike Overlord, this one seems like it's having a lot more fun. It's trying to be a lot more lighthearted with its kind of portrayal of this evil character. A lot of it seems to be like misunderstandings and just trying to chill and explore the world, whereas, yeah, Overlord, he takes out a lot of people. He becomes an Overlord. He literally becomes somebody to be feared on purpose. So there is a lot of difference between the two of them. And that's what I'm going to get into with my first impressions of the first episode, kind of dig into this and kind of see if this is something that, hey, if you like Overlord, you might actually like this. As a fan of Overlord, I like what I see so far. But let's just dive right into it. What is a Wild Last Boss appeared about? Like I said before, yes, it's this guy that was playing this video game. It's a war MMORPG, and the idea that people can build nations and rise up together and fight against other nations of other players. A big, massive, group PvP type game. Kind of reminds me of something like Shadowbane or something like that I used to play back in the day. Well, at some point, he created a character called Lufus, and Lufus was this great conqueror that he built up and leveled up and poured a bunch of money into, all those pay-to-win type of stuff to kind of build him up, got very powerful, brought in a bunch of other people, and just conquered the entire game. Well, that was not fun, so he decides to work with other players to build heroes that will come up and rise up against them, and in the end, he was defeated. And he kind of was going to wrap it up with that. Like, you know what, that was a lot of fun. Let's call it the end of the game. But as he's sitting there in front of the computer, he gets a prompt on the screen and the appearance of the goddess of the game. It asks if he wants to play a new role. And he assumes, okay, well, my character got really popular. Maybe the devs really liked me. I mean, nobody was even paying attention to the demon lord of the actual game. They wanted to defeat Lufus, the player. Well, he decides to select yes, thinking it's the game dev sending him a message that he's going to take part in some new role or something like that. Well, he suddenly finds himself appearing inside the game as his character, Lufus. Now, this is a little bit disorienting at first because, yes, this is a dude that suddenly becomes a chick, Lufus. In his whole mind, he's like, crap, I created this character because I had the mindset of it's more fun to look at a cute girl rather than, some guy on your screen all the time. But now I can't do that because I'm in first person. Kind of quickly regrets the fact that he made a female. Well, that aside, he's standing before a bunch of guards, an elf, and a king. This kingdom was attempting to summon a hero, and it seems like they just unsealed Lufus instead, and in effect, summoned this player. Very quickly, he asked them to kind of explain the situation, but his aura that he has called pressure, this passive skill, pretty much makes them all bow and grovel in front of him. And as he's trying to ask them questions, it keeps coming across as really mean. Like, how dare you explain the situation? He's like, no, that's not what I want to say. Eventually, he figures out how to stop his passive. Before asking them, they explain that they were trying to summon a hero. They explain that 200 years has passed since Lufus has been sealed away. The Devil King himself still lives, and in order to defeat him, they were trying to summon a hero in order to do that. With that, he pretty much tells them, look, I'm not here to fight. I'm just going to go do my own thing. So just go summon another hero anyways. I'm just going to go over here. And he just leaves and goes to travel around the world. Now, yes, he's kind of like, wow, I kind of want to get back out of this game. But for now, I'm going to enjoy this. Being able to explore in first person this world that he loves so much was great. Eventually, he finds the Sky Tower, which was his base as Lufus, goes in there. It gets a little sense here of nostalgia that he's starting to feel. It's starting to get that little feeling of the memories of Lufus, the character, is starting to meld with his own. And the idea that as he comes in there, he's like, yeah, this is where me and my buddies would party together and have drinks and be merry. And he's like, wait, I don't recall those memories. And that happens again a couple other times later on when he goes to his adventure guild. He feels a little bit of sense of nostalgia there as well. Well, after sitting down for a little bit, suddenly he's approached by an advisor of Lufus called Dena. He's like, I don't even know who you are. Who are you? It's me, Dena. I've been standing here waiting for you for 200 years. Oh, that's an NPC that I actually got. Yeah, it seems like as he was playing the game, he went out of his way to find like really rare NPCs that you can recruit and just pretty much put them inside the tower as sort of like background noise. Just something to have like as decorations in the room itself. And Dena was one of them. He's like, oh yeah, sorry about that. My memory is for some reason hazy. You're very loyal. Well, Dena kind of gets him fully caught up on what has happened since he's been gone or sealed away. Apparently, the heroes that sealed him away became known as the Seven Heroes. They went on to make their own nations. Eventually, 4 of them passed away of old age, but 3 remain. He starts to kind of question if there's a possibility that those heroes themselves are still players, or if the ones in this world now are going to be all NPCs. Dena also mentioned the fact that the 12 Heavenly Stars are still around. And the 12 Heavenly Stars are like the highest ranking NPCs of the NPCs that Luffy's actually recruited. Which leads him to kind of go, okay, my current mission right now is probably to explore, gather information, see if these individuals might possibly be other players, and at the same time, gather the 12 Heavenly Stars, to which he does. He goes to seek out one of them. But Dena stops him and says, you can't do anything right now. You don't have any money, because apparently an overlord conqueror needs money. So what do we do in order to get money? Well, we can't really get many jobs as a conqueror, so we're gonna join the Adventure Guild. We have to go to the Adventure Guild. They disguise themselves, go there, get a job for killing orcs. They go to kill the orcs, showing off how extremely overpowered Luffy is because, yeah, despite the fact that he was summoned into this body, yeah, he has all of his stats. He has his level and everything. And that pretty much rounds up the episode. So my thoughts on A Wild Last Boss Appeared. So far, I'm enjoying this show. Despite, like I said earlier, where there is a lot of similarities to Overlord here, I feel like it's fresh enough. I think the similarities really just play in the idea that there's a guy that had a character that was some sort of Overlord. They're summoned into the body of that character, and they have a bunch of NPCs that have some sort of sentience now that are going to be fighting at his side, while he questions, is there other players there? And the world itself may possibly see him as some sort of overlord that could be feared. That's pretty much it. Like, we'll just leave that right there. I guess the other aspect is that, yes, it is implying that a lot of the emotions and memories of Luffy, the character, is starting to pour into the player's mind that is in the body. And of course, Overlord did that quite a bit. With this one, you have Luffy, again, recalling the memories, feeling nostalgic. And yes, as it comes to literally killing these orcs and seeing it gruesomely laying there, in his mind, he's going, oh, that's gross. But he's like, but my body and my mind of the character that I'm inside of isn't repelled by this. And you're getting that sense of that coldness of the character of Luffy, the Conqueror, is literally becoming his personality. That stuff as well. But again, aside from that, that's pretty much it. I really do feel like A Wild Last Boss Appeared is sort of doing its own thing, and the idea that it feels a lot more about exploration and comedy and just enjoying this world. This guy seems like he's a massive geek and a nerd for this game. He loves it. He spent a lot of money and a lot of time into his character Luffy, and now he's able to explore. He's able to wander around it and again, sort of see what's different in this world or not. The big question mark is this the game still, or are we dealing with an actual isekai into a world that is a copy but reality? I think my only problem that I kind of ran into so far with this episode, because I think it's a solid start, although I'm not going to put a massive amount of expectation on it, it's got a good start. I think the only part that kind of rubbed me wrong was towards the later part, getting into, oh, let's go to the Adventure Guild. Oh, we have to do the Adventure Guild thing. Every isekai, we have to do the Adventure Guild thing. Despite the fact that you are a conqueror, Dena, the advisor of the conqueror that used to run the entire world, is going, before we can go find your other guards, we have to get money. I don't know why we need money, but the advisor to the boss is literally like, let's go join the Adventure Guild and make money there by finding cats. The conqueror, Luffy. I guess you could chop it up as Dena being very level-headed of an advisor. And this girl, I think, literally makes the entire show so far, by the way. Dena is just a lot of fun. Just her flipping out. It starts off very kind of submissive, like excitement. Oh, you're back. I'm so happy. I've been waiting 200 years. To submissive, like, oh, I don't deserve all that credit. Thank you so much. To being commanded. Okay, let me tell you about everything that's going on. To literally correcting. Like, Luffy is just like nonchalant about, yeah, we'll just go into town and get some money. But your wings, it's going to scare people. Nah, wings are common. No, they're not. You're an idiot. You're going to listen to me. We're going to go do adventuring and we're going to disguise you. Her, like, outrage over how Luffy does things is great. She's a lot of fun so far, which does have me pretty excited for the other characters, because my assumption, again, similar to something like Overlord, my assumption is that a lot of these NPCs that are now sentient, I'm assuming that a lot of them will essentially be the personality and character of the story, seeing how each one of them sees Luffy and wants to serve Luffy in some way. Some possibly being very obsessive, some being yandere, yada, yada, yada. The other thing that I think is working out so far in the show is I don't really mind too much the overpoweredness of the character. Now, granted, with this first episode, we really only have one portrayal of it, and it's to defeat this entire pack of orcs. He goes over there and pretty much just levels them. It gives a sense of like, wow, these guys are incredibly weak. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm actually incredibly strong. That's actually what's going on here. It's an OP spectacle, but at the same time, I don't really care so much as I usually do with these overpowered main characters that make you kind of go, okay, yeah, you're great. Yeah, we get it. Maybe because it's not playing too much in the Sugoi yet. Visually, the show's fine. I think for the majority of the show, it's not like it's trying too hard to be bombastic with the animation. It's doing just enough. My only kind of is probably the orcs towards the later part. Like, the big orc, that was pretty awesome. I mean, they did some decent job with the animation there, but like, yeah, all the other orcs, they're all like CGI, and they had to have like a close-up of one of them slow motion towards Luffy just to kind of emphasize how like it's CGI. You can't hide it like decently well. Yeah, similar to Overlord, yes, we have blah CGI monsters in this show too. That's something similar to Overlord that we're not going to avoid doing. Nope. Nope. It was a little bit off-putting, but it's fine. It just happened. Hopefully we don't do that anymore. But again, going back, I do like the designs of the characters. I think it looks pretty solid. I'm not going to put a massive amount of expectations on it. And it's pulling off the aesthetic very well, and the idea that it feels a little bit dark, but it's not too dark. And again, I think that's going to be the overall feel of the show, is just kind of that middle area. With all that said, I do have a decent amount of hope for this show. I think the things that I'm kind of hoping for going forward is going to be, again, getting in some decently interesting NPCs that will be following Luffy. You know, maybe possibly, dig into the heroes and see if possibly some of them are, actual players. I'm expecting that they probably will be, although I typically don't really care for that. It might end up opening a decent door there. I'm assuming we could possibly get into the idea of Luffy, doing their own thing on the side before eventually kind of bumping heads with the Devil King and then wanting to take them down for the sake of the people. It could turn to one of those things where the conqueror that everybody feared before and sealed away is now the hero of the entire world. They could end up doing that, but I think it could find a lot more fun in the idea of just exploring the world, because it does seem like this character is a massive gaming nerd. He is a lore nerd. He loves getting into the lore of the actual world itself, and this could be one of those things where, similar to Skeletal Knight in Another World, him just geeking out about the mechanics in the world itself. But we'll have to wait and see. That's my thoughts on the first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support more, become a member of the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing first impressions of all the shows of the season, so definitely stick around. Until next time, y'all take care.